Welcome to the newest episode of the Needless Things podcast. We are going to have a lot of fun tonight. Now, you may notice that my last guest is a current guest, only, Jonathan, you're no longer a special guest. You're just one of the guests tonight. Can you deal with that?
I can't tell if that's an upgrade or a downgrade. It's like you're no longer special, but you're around more often. It's
a side grade. It's a side grade. And I'll tell you right now, it doesn't pay any better.
Yeah. There's no raise, but it comes with a slice of cantaloupe. So it's
my least favorite fruit.
Exactly.
we can find an alternate for you. That's okay.
Sweet. Okay.
Cool. So welcome back, real quick. Who are you, and what are you working on right now?
Who, me? This guy?
Yes, sir.
I'm Jonathan Davenport, aka pro wrestling gear designer Davenport, and amateur action figure and cartoon enthusiast. You can find me on Instagram at Davenport, and I'm honestly just happy to be here. I'm having a great time already.
Well, we're thrilled to have you here because this was your brainchild, and in just a minute we'll get into exactly what we're doing tonight. But it's a really fun concept. I'm stoked about it. Also here, our head of research, Ryan. Welcome back.
All right. Always good to be here. I am the co-host of Execute Chapter 66, a Star Wars fiction podcast, and sometimes contributor to here on the Needless Things. And for a little while, I filled in for Mr. LegionCub up there. I was just a temp, though.
That's right.
And then I had to leave.
And finally, my ally from Audible Interlude.
Yes, I am your favorite movable fighting Cobra intern, codenamed LegionCub.
So we're all gathered here tonight because after we get off the air, it might have been during the interview last time. Everybody check out my interview with Jonathan from the last episode. But you had this great idea of why don't we do a Hasbropalooza? I think actually we might have just been texting afterwards. He said, why don't we do this? Why don't we do like a Hasbropalooza? And I said, ooh, what if we each have a few figures from Hasbro and just go around and talk about them? And I don't know what your original plan was for it, but that's what popped into my head.
I love that idea. I think this is the way to go. My memory of it was I fully intended for when you and I interfaced to talk about G.I. Joe, because I have a long, loving history with G.I. Joe. But instead, I did a deep dive on Transformers, and we did like an hour and a half just on Transformers. And then I think Hasbropalooza was my attempt to make up for it.
Well, that's what we do here is, especially during an interview, but also during a show like tonight, my interest is more in where the conversation goes than in what our plans were. And I could think that's more organic. I think it's more entertaining to listen to. So, I mean, yeah, we talked about Transformers for quite some time. We might talk about them a little bit more tonight. We'll find out. But so what it is, each of us has picked a few figures or toys from the history of Hasbro, and we are sticking to Hasbro because one of my first thoughts was, I need an OG Star Wars figure, but that's Kenner, that's not Hasbro. Mm-hmm. Now, Power of the Force, sure, be Hasbro, but we're going to be strict about it only because this is a type of episode that we can do over and over again in the future. So we can do a Kenner Palooza, we could do a Mattel Palooza or a Tonka Palooza or whatever. So we're sticking with just Hasbro tonight. Each of us have a few things to pick from. I've got a little. We've got some visual aids. We may even have some physical in-studio samples to talk about. But Jonathan, since this was your idea, we're going to let you go first, and I've got your picture ready to go. So just let her rip, and I'll put up the appropriate image as you go.
Right on. Well, in the spirit of making up for what I destroyed on the last go around, my first pick is from G.I. Joe, and I have my original here from when I was a kid. I've got Flash, Laser Rifle Trooper, and this was my first G.I. Joe figure ever. Like ever. And you can tell because he doesn't have the swivel arm battle grip. Like it's just the regular straight joint. And
that's the wrong person.
This figure, oh my god, is so special to me, guys. Like, it really means a lot. Like, I don't know if you recall. Of course you recall. Who am I talking to? This is the group. You know, the figures hit before the cartoon, at least where I was living. So after school, my grandmother would pick me up and take me to like Kmart or something, just for something to do, you know? And, you know, there wasn't a ton, like before G.I. Joe, I wasn't really into like a ton of toys. Like, there just wasn't anything that captured my imagination, you know? And then I just remember, I can remember it like it was yesterday, like going down that aisle and then like down the boy section and then seeing like the explosions on the packaging, right? It's like so eye-catching. And I was just like, what was it? 1980, what, 3 maybe?
82 was the first wave of Joe's, this
82.
non-swivel
Wow.
arm. Yeah.
This is a crazy, because I can't, there's so many really actually important memories that I've dumped. I remember this from 2nd grade, going down the aisle, seeing that, and like just my mind exploding and being like, oh my gosh, all these look so cool. And I just remember begging my grandma, please buy me one. And I thought, were they like $3 back then or something?
Like 2 something. After tax, probably 3.
Yeah, I want to say they were like $2.50, $2.75.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a minimal price point.
Because I had a $5 allowance, and that could get me 2 G.I. Joe figures.
Oh, you were rich, dude.
No.
You're the guy we have to go to your house after school because you got everything. But yeah, so like she told me I could get one, and that was very difficult. I was obviously very drawn to Snake Eyes, but without any kind of lore or anything, like any cartoon to inform it. I was strictly going off of like what boiled down to like accessories, like cool accessories. And I remember the visor was the thing that did it. I was like, oh, you know, like it was a working helmet. There was no such thing back then. So I got him and I fell in love with like the whole concept. And it began like I've got cases and cases of these dudes. I had so many vehicles. My dad was ex-military, so that helped. So like he was really into the vehicles, and he would pick them up, like quote unquote, for me. But like it just I had like I was rich in toys, and this was the beginning of it. And I should also say that it also began my long sad history of falling in love with characters that played very little part on the show.
Wasn't that such a letdown when like the figures came out and you're like, oh my gosh, this, I mean, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head, but this is great. This is my guy. And then they're like, not in the show. Maybe they get a panel or 2 in the comic or whatever. And that's it. And you're like, oh well.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Now I get to make it up.
As a kid, because Flash was one of my favorites as well. So phenomenal first pick here. But he was the laser trooper. And, you know, in the sci-fi loving 70s and early 80s, being a laser trooper was super cool. But then on the cartoon, everyone had lasers. So there wasn't anything to make him like, what are we going to do?
Call in the laser trooper.
Well, he has one long beam.
Yeah.
So it's different.
Oh, he's got like
wasn't he on the intro of the first season? Like just like cutting a hole in something, or
not only is he in the intro, but we discovered in one of the early promotional pieces of animation prior to the cartoon, there's double Flash. There are 2 of Flash in a single scene.
It's not Grand Slam. It's
nope.
No.
Wow.
It's double Flash. What does it mean?
That's crazy.
It's like it's Flash and Flasher. So I always kind of liked when there was ones though that didn't have story on the show, because in my world they automatically became like the top badass of G.I. Joe because I made up all the things
right
why they were the best.
Oh, you had an imagination. That's great. Good for you. I stuck to the script. Whatever they said on the show was canon.
Yeah, I don't remember at what point I got Flash. He wasn't in my first batch of Joes I got. He was probably that Christmas. But you bring up the visor, and that was key. Like my favorite guys were the ones that had that little clear visor just added so much play value and so much to the look of the figure. Huge deal.
Yeah.
Can't underestimate the visor.
It's still a big deal now for me. When I get a figure that has like glasses or a visor still, I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. Like,
Really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will mention, since we're talking G.I. Joe, the Audible Interlude Christmas shirt, Audible Interlude Saves Christmas, is available now. Check out Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram. Go to our pinned stories and get yourself a Christmas shirt, only available through December the 25th. There's some product placement for you. Excellent. Great way to open the show. I like the G.I. Joe tie-in. You will be great next year when we have you on Audible Interlude for a full episode.
Awesome.
So next up, Ryan, head of research. What is your first pick for this Hasbropalooza?
so for my first one, I thought back, and when I was younger, I had all the G.I. Joe and all of those things, but I was thinking, like, what else did I have a strange obsession with? And it was the Frosty the Snowman Snowmaker kit. So here's the thing. I did not have the Snoopy kit. And this came out, and here's the weird thing. This came out in the late 70s. For some reason, I didn't get it until the mid-80s. So I don't know if my parents bought it on clearance or just had it. And you can
Or
see
yard
it.
sale.
Yeah.
Were they because I know my granny, anytime we visited home, she'd always have old toys that were new to me, like Micronauts and Battlestar Galactica and stuff that I'd never seen. And she hit yard sales all the time.
Yeah. And I remember it so clearly for two things, and you can see them in this picture. One is when you bought it, it was this kit. And if you see it right there, it came with a sign for snow cones for sale. And so, of course,
that's not promotional?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I
it's a
thought that was
kit.
just marketing.
No, you got the sign, you got the hat. And so, of course, my little 5-year-old self was about to make it rich. And I was going to have a whole business, which leads me to the second part of this toy. I do not believe anybody in the entire world made a snow cone that looked like that with this product. It was impossible. It was like a dangerous tube that had blades in it that you were supposed to crush the ice. And I couldn't make a snow cone. I know I cut my fingers in it because the ice would get stuck, and then I put my finger in it, and then it cut you. It was just traumatic. And
the Friday the 13th, the series episode we didn't know we needed.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The snow cone machine of blood.
Snow cone machine.
It's not cherry.
Everyone I know wanted this or the Snoopy one, and I don't know anyone whose parents bought it for them. My mind is blown right now, Schweck.
A friend of mine had the Snoopy one, and it functioned the same way. That it really didn't do this. Well, if you're watching on the Needless Things YouTube channel, you can see the image of this Frosty, and it did not make these nice, neat little crushed ice situations. You would get it would turn an ice cube into 6 little chunks of ice. That's the best you could ever get out of it.
Yeah. I did not make it rich.
Shocking. Shocking. Oh wait. Well, okay.
Ooh.
I guess I'm going next, whether I like it or not. So, all right, come sit on Papa's lap.
Oh, you got him there.
Oh yeah, I've got this is what we're looking at here. If you're listening to the audio version, is Decompose from the Inhumanoids, one of the most unique and creepy and weird action figures ever. I did not have Decompose when I was a kid. I wanted all of the Inhumanoids very badly, but mom had lines that she would not cross, and when it came to rotten, demonic corpse giants, with squishy guts and a functioning rib cage. That is one of the lines that she would draw. But this is a huge figure, over 12 inches tall. It's got the squishy guts. It's got the rib cage to trap the other figures in. The sculpt is just insanity. If this were fully painted, which if you go online, you can see ones that people have done custom paint jobs on to highlight all the like viscera and nastiness that here is just kind of like molded plastic. It's really just a beautiful figure. It's got the light piping from the top of the head to the little teeth in the front. And like I said, I wanted all of these when I was a kid. I was obsessed with like the horror toys, the gross out toys. And this is actually one of the first vintage toys I purchased as an adult collector. For years and years, Schweck, most of the time, we knew each other back in the early 2000s and everything. I was mostly just buying new toys. I never had any interest in going back and buying vintage toys. And when I first discovered Goodwill's website, before everybody discovered it and it turned into eBay, I managed to get this. I know I didn't pay more than $50.
Wow.
Awesome. Oh yeah, crazy. And this was, well, it might have been 2010, 2012 ish. I got this, and I got an original Boglin still in the box for nothing. But anyway, this is just an incredible figure. If you see the visual right now online, I mean, you can see this just gorgeous sculpted detail. It's wild. It's crazy. Inhumanoids were an obsession of mine when I was a kid. And now I've got the whole collection minus the vehicles.
Nice.
But this guy came out in 1986. As far as anything to go with it, which I realize we've kind of skipped over a little bit, we were going to discuss, is there anything that you have to have as a companion to this thing that you've brought? So actually, we'll go back to Jonathan right now, because I do want to talk about that a little bit, because certainly with the 80s, a huge part of collecting was building the collection. What did you have to go with this thing? So Jonathan, let's go back to Flash real quick. Do you need a foe or do you need a buddy? Like, if you had one other figure from that era to pick, who would go with Flash?
Weirdly, I don't remember my second figure. I remember Flash like it was nothing. But like, I will say, you remember the Thing? I don't know if they still do it, but like in the 80s, especially with Hasbro, like they really went all in on the good guys, and the bad guys, they had very few, Yeah. I just remember looking on the back of the box or the back of the card and seeing the squares that you can find on the back of my website, apparently, my vintage one.
Yes.
Just being like, oh, there's like 3 bad guys. Like, that's it. That's crazy. So, I do remember I circled back to Snake Eyes. So I ended up getting the second one. So
nice.
Yeah. But that's the nature of it, right? Because like, I don't know what kind of voodoo they put into the plastic, but like, it doesn't work alone. You need alchemy. You need more pieces, and the more you get, the better it feels. So I'm with you.
Yeah. Ryan, yours is sort of an exception. I don't know that you've got any kind of companion.
You need the Snoopy one.
To go across.
A working snow cone machine.
Yeah, well, no, you know what? You know what you have to have? Band-Aids.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. The souls of children to make it actually work. But Band-Aids, better answer.
That Friday the 13th episode is writing itself.
Yeah, it really
it really is kind of horrific that it's a Frosty that seemingly shoots part of itself for you to eat out of its stomach.
There's a whole series out of, it's like, this isn't even Friday the 13th. This is something we need to work on. We've got the horrors of the snow cone machine. We've got lawn darts. We've got Boba Fett's rocket that fires up your nose. Like, the horrors of this is something. You know what? I'm going to cut this part out. We don't want people hearing this, because this is our IP. We're gonna make this is going to be the toys that maimed us.
Oh, nice.
I've got plenty of stories of me attempting to use my sister's Easy Bake Oven.
Yeah, that bulb
Which also did
would
not go
melt
well.
you. That's so I'm just throwing that out there right now because I think this is how copyright works: is if you say it, it's automatically copyrighted.
That's how it
The
works.
toys that maimed us, that's us. Nobody else do that. That's our business.
That's
All
really
right.
good. That's really good.
And as far as Decompose, I think his companion really for me would be anybody that can fit in that rib cage.
Yeah.
Whether it's a Joe or one of the Earth Core figures or whatever, like you just need somebody for him to consume. All right, Christian.
Oh, sorry. Can I jump in
go
with
ahead.
the
No,
Inhumanoids?
go ahead.
I
Yeah.
had Metlar, and my mom hated him with a passion. She literally thought that he was the devil, like the actual, like Lucifer lived in my room. So I only had him for a few weeks, and then one day I came home from school and he was gone.
Oh, look, there's another episode, is stuff mom vanished. I've got a whole list of things that just one day it was gone. And I don't like, now I understand what happened. But back then I was like, how did I lose my, whatever? Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a whole other concept. All right, Christian, what is your number one pick?
Okay, so my number one, I am going with the ROM, the Space Knight. Now, originally made by Parker Brothers, but that original figure, to put some context in it, as a kid, in elementary school, ROM was the comic that me and all my friends were the most obsessed with. Sure, there was Secret Wars, there was Fantastic Four and X-Men, but ROM was the one that it was gateway horror, it was sci-fi, like every month, the anticipation of what is going to happen. And we always wanted toys of ROM, the various Space Knights, the Diarates, and all that existed was this Parker Brothers figure that was 13 inches tall, like hollow plastic, made some electric noises. It didn't fit when all your other Marvel characters were from the Marvel Secret Wars toy line. So finally, at the beginning of this year, Hasbro knocked it out of the park with our Marvel Legends ROM figure. Looks like he stepped right out of the comics. Marvel Legends uses a lot of the same bodies over and over and over, but he is almost entirely new sculpting. They gave him the mitten hands like he had in the comics, and typically with my Marvel Legends, as you can see, I take some photos, they go on the shelf, and they wait for me to take more photos eventually. ROM has never made it to the shelf. He has stayed. Let me rephrase that. I have a shelf near my bed that is all the toys that I constantly fidget with.
Yeah.
And this is where he has lived since he came out. Like, in my imagination, I have relived all of the childhood stories I wanted with ROM, because in the comics, especially when he was part of Marvel, there was a period where it became a team up book, because it would be in this storyline, you have ROM and the Fantastic Four versus the Diarates, ROM and Iron Fist versus the Diarates. So now I get to have all those little team ups in action figure form, and it absolutely takes me back to being single digits young.
And I know what you mean by he hasn't made it to the regular shelves yet, because that's my desk area. Is all the stuff that I'm not quite ready to just pose it and put it on the shelf is sitting around me here, because I just I'll fidget like this. Christian, this Snoopy has been sitting here for a couple of months now because he's just neat. I pick him up and I fiddle with him and stuff. He's fun.
Yep. And we know how much Lenny listens to Audible Interlude. So folks on the Marvel Legends team that are listening right now, you made me wait a couple of years to get a second figure in the Crystar wave. So it's about time for some Space Knights to go with Rom. Let's get on that. Thank you.
And that answers what we need to go with it.
I don't know if they can. Didn't they lose the rights again?
No. So the thing is, Marvel actually owns all of the Space Knights. They actually own the Dire Wraiths, which was part of why the IDW comic had to come to an end. They created all of those characters originally, Brandy, all of that, Hybrid. The only character they didn't have the rights to was Rom himself, which is why when they tried to do revamped comics later on featuring like the Space Knights of generations later, they could never actually name Rom. He was always the one.
The knight, yeah.
Yeah. So, yep.
That's funny. Killer pick. I remember when they released the photos of the Marvel Legends version, just like kind of freaking out because there hasn't been any Rom anything for a really long time. Yeah. I never had the figure. I did collect a few of the comics because I remember the cover art was always painted. It looked really,
that Bill Sienkiewicz artwork.
Yeah. So good.
Well, and one more thing that's great about that Marvel Legends figure is they actually it's painted silver.
Is it really?
They didn't use they didn't use their swirly metallic plastic. It's actually a beautiful, like polished looking silver, like they've used on Colossus, like they've used on that most recent Silver Surfer figure. It looks incredible. It's really great job on
awesome.
It. All right, that brings us back around to Jonathan. What is your second Hasbropalooza choice?
Before we hop in, do you think we'll make it to the third? Because the third is the most important to me. And
you know what? Time-wise, we're looking good. I think we're going to get through all three tonight.
Sweet. Okay. So my number two, I got to be very gentle with this guy because his O-ring is about to go. I can feel it.
Oh, boy.
But
you know how that goes.
Kravex of the Visionaries. I like that reaction, Christian. That's what I'm talking about.
One of the greatest unsung toy lines ever created.
Right? Oh my gosh! Like it was such a great line. I do have his staff, kind of working. I don't have his like 3-headed mace anymore, unfortunately. But
so that's your childhood one.
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
man.
Wow.
100%. Yeah, I'm that kid. I spent my summers at home because it was just me and my mom. My mom would go to work, and this is so geeky. I would divide my day into either an hour or half-hour slots, and like play TV. Like I'm like, okay, G.I. Joe's at 8. So I pull out all my Joes at 8 and play with them from 8 to 9, and then put them back into their cases and put them away. And then at 9 o'clock, it's time for like GoBots, but that's only a half hour because that's not very fun. So 9 to 9:30, and even the toys that like I wasn't that into, it was fun to do like a half hour of them. So that's how I spent my time.
Yeah. That is awesome. I've never heard that play pattern before, but it makes so much sense because when I would play, I would like do the voices and try and tell a story, and even though I wasn't aware of it, I know I was doing the 3-act stories because that's what I learned from TV. But I never thought of like, or it's shocking to me that I never thought of organizing it that way, as doing like programming. That's awesome.
It's insane. I know. And then like I say,
great.
I kept anything that like where you could keep the box. I kept the box, and then that's how I stored them. So I put them back in the box and had them stacked up and whatever. So a lot of my figures still survive to this day just because they just were so well taken care of. But let me tell you about Visionaries. So like Visionaries, you remember that was like, I think a Sunday morning thing where I lived. It was like part of, I don't feel like, was it its own show or was it like part of a action?
It was part of an action block. With,
but I
don't remember what it was with.
It wasn't part of the original it was Super Sundays that had like big, 15-minute
Robotics,
increments,
Bigfoot,
robotics,
Gem.
gem.
Yeah.
So Inhumanoids, when that ended, like Gem got its own 30-minute series, then Visionaries came out at the same time.
Okay.
And there was one other show that's escaping me at the moment, but they started right out of the gate. Here's 30 minutes.
Shoot, you got me thinking now, like, what was that other one? But yeah, so I just remember seeing Visionaries. I saw the cartoon first, like before I saw commercials for the toys or anything. And I bring this one up. It's an awesome figure. No complaints. The sculpt is incredible. I remember he had the Starscream voice, so same as Decomposed. So that was all great, and also like not super featured. So it continues my legacy. But like by that time, what year was that? Anybody know what year Visionaries was?
It would have been 1987.
87, perfect. So by that time, I was well aware of like what is Hasbro, what is Mattel, what is Marvel, what is DC or whatever. You know, it's like you knew who was making the things. And at that point, I had kind of chosen my team. You know what I mean? And this was the first one that I got into, like, not because I was like super inspired, like, oh, amazing storytelling and awesome character design, but because I was like, the next one from my team. It's like, because Hasbro was like another banger. I know it's going to be good because Hasbro's always good. So it's like I got on board because I was like team Hasbro and then got into it. The weird thing is I barely remember any of the episodes other than the first one, the big Gauntlet episode.
I don't.
Right.
And I loved the toys, and especially like that hologram aspect. If you remember how big holograms were in the mid 80s, like the National Geographic covers, the like holograms were it. And the fact that they capitalized, to this day, I wonder, and I would imagine, because Visionaries are 5 inches, they're bigger than Joe's. And I would imagine that's to accommodate the hologram, like in the best way possible. So, but if they had been able to scale them with the Joes, I wonder if they would have gone on a little longer.
So there are prototypes of the unreleased Wave 2 that was so close to being released, and they sort of, it was too late, right, to resize them down. Yeah. But they did figure that out because all of the Wave 2 figures came with a shield, or at least the ones that we've seen. They came with a shield that had the hologram effect. And then their armor, it would have been more like Battle Beast, Transformers, where it was like the heat sensitive. Just
the rub off type deal.
Yeah.
Oh, so wow. Interesting.
I feel like if they had done that in that first wave, and I agree, got them compatible with Joe's, it absolutely would have.
You're okay. So that sounds plausible, and if you say it, I believe it. But I have this conspiracy theory because you remember Gem.
I was going to use her as an example. Hasbro has a terrible history of the industry standard is this size. So let's just make ours a little bigger.
Right. So I remember
it's not compatible.
I didn't collect Barbie or Gem, although I would have collected Gem now. Like if they made like a G.I. Joe classified version of Gem, I get the whole.
Talked about that on the show.
Have you really?
So many times. Oh yeah, or Super 7, because Super 7 did the reaction Gem figures. If they would do reaction plus like O-ring Gem figures,
yes, yeah. Like I don't want the fashion hair. Like that doesn't help me. Like I need it sculpted. That'd be great. But yeah, I remember seeing the commercials, and in my head I can hear it. I can still hear it, where the girl in the commercial was like, and they're all bigger than Barbie. And at the time, I didn't know why that was important. Later, I got it where I was like, oh, they don't want you using Barbie accessories with Gem. You need to buy the whole vehicle. You have to go all in on Gem. And so my conspiracy theory is like, do they want you to go all in on Visionaries? Like, you don't want Kravex in a vamp or a stinger. Like you want him in his own thing. Like I wondered if there was some of that.
Very well could be.
And that's possible because Visionaries did have playsets and vehicles, and maybe that was the thinking is we don't want to you wanted to buy all of this. You have to buy all of this because it doesn't work with anything else.
Doesn't work with
to
those.
me, I think that bit them because if it had all been compatible, because that was my block to Visionaries was they don't work with my Joes, so I think they're really cool, but I'm not going to like go all in on them because it doesn't. In
case you didn't know this about Dave, Jonathan, he
here we go.
No. I've grown accustomed to it. He cannot integrate various toy lines or scales. No. So G.I. Joe had G.I. Joe adventures. G.I. Joe would not have ever gone to Eternia and had adventures with He-Man.
Dave.
I didn't do that either.
Dave, that is the correct thing to do. Sorry, Christian, you're out. You can't. It doesn't work.
I can't
it doesn't work.
Those now. Beast Man might have been like a monster that Dr. Mindbender made. That would have been okay. But yeah, as far as like He-Man and Duke hanging out, absolutely not.
I had a Bo and Luke Duke from the Dukes of Hazzard line. I don't think. Yeah, I must have had a General Lee, but I don't recall. But I had such little interest in that toy line that I remember, I'm home alone, microwaving Luke, and he had this giant hole in him, and he became, whenever Cobra Commander had some like satellite laser thing, and that was the point, like, and you've got to try it out on somebody to demonstrate that I mean business, that was the result.
That's solid. That's good. You need victims, you need hostages. When I was a kid, I wanted like bystander figures. And there weren't we had adventure people. There were a few things that were kind of like regular people figures. But then at the end of the day, when it came down to it, when I'm standing in the aisle at Lionel Play World and I'm trying to decide if I want Crystal Ball or like truck or farmer with ATV, I'm going to get Crystal Ball.
Well, how many rockets does the ATV have?
Yeah, absolutely.
2 quick points about Visionaries and we can move on.
Yes.
One, I told you I don't remember many of the episodes or any except for that first one. My daughter recently, I think ironically, has gotten into like some 80s stuff with me to watch with me. And again, it's just ragging on it the whole time, but hey, we're watching. And I told her about Visionaries and I was like, let me see if I can pull up an episode. And I found one. And there's no way you'll remember because no one remembers anything. But Leoric got trapped in lion mode. Do you remember this?
Yes.
And he got hunted down by villagers because the Darkling Lords had blamed a lot of things on this whatever. And it was so well written. Like it's so good. Like it stands up. It conveys. Like it's just a really good episode. It makes me wonder if all of them have the same great writing. It was awesome.
Yes.
I mean, I would imagine there's at least a level of, because when you look at G.I. Joe, there is at least sort of a median level of quality where they're all at least entertaining. Like some are great, but none are bad of the Sunbow run.
Yeah.
So I would think, it's probably safe to say Visionaries probably runs along that same line. And that's, I need to find the Visionaries cartoons and I need to find the Inhumanoids cartoons. And they're both, I'm sure they're easily obtainable in places I'm not necessarily looking, if you pick up what I'm saying.
I was going to say,
they're on the high
remind
seats.
Remind me before the next convention and I'll bring you my hard drive and you can copy it.
Oh, there you go.
But if you want to see Visionaries inserted into Gremlins, look up the Sun Imps episode. I think it's the best episode of the series.
Okay.
But
interesting.
But I want to add one more thing about Kravex and why, when it comes to the villains, I actually do think he is the best figure from the villains, is because same thing Dave was sort of saying about Decompose. When you look at the sculpting that is on him, his armor has like all the red is like dragon scale kind of pattern, and he has all these sculpted like claws, and it's asymmetrical and chunky, and it's just so, I think, artistic compared to what a lot of other lines were doing.
Totally agree. If we ever have a Visionary specific episode, which I'm sure
we'll get there. We'll get there.
It's in the what is it with Hasbro, like just nerfing the enemy leader? Because like the leader of the Darking Lords, his name escapes me. His name is Christian.
Oh my gosh. When you put me on the spot.
All I know is it's not Mordred. That was the
so that guy isn't like the leader.
Dark Lord Darklon?
Maybe.
Something along those lines.
Darkstorm is his name.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Not sticky. Turned into a mollusk. You know what I mean? The same as Megatron turns into a pistol. Like, it's not good. It's not good. Lion versus... And they're like, what if the mollusk was humongous? Like, that doesn't... It's still no good. It's no good. And my last Visionaries point was... and I just wanted to ask you guys, because I don't have anyone else to ask. Does anyone like knights?
Like medieval, like knights? Like,
yeah, because I am that for real, because I feel like adults, not meaning us, we're the kids, sure. But the adults are positive that we kids love knights, and they keep throwing us knight stuff, and it all sucks. And Visionaries was the closest. I thought, like, it was like, okay, that I can get into because they're not clunky. They have cool armor. They have powers. Now you're talking Hasbro language. That's now you're talking to me, a Hasbro kid. But like, I don't know, I keep seeing knight things come and go.
I loved knights when I was a kid. Medieval stuff, like not even necessarily Dungeons and Dragons stuff, but just medieval stuff, armor, knights. Yeah, I thought that stuff was very, very cool. I was
okay.
As a matter of fact, there was a later line, the Mystic Knights of Tyr.
Yeah, massive hit. Just kidding. It wasn't, because it's knights.
Oh, and that was kind of the thing. Like, I think that hit, and I was like, man, those look really cool. And then once I saw the figures, I was like, maybe they're not that cool. And I think once you get a little older, like as a kid, like I said, I thought it was awesome. But as I got a little older, I was like, well, if you were in this armor like this, you wouldn't really be able to move very much. You wouldn't like, and also you get to know about paladins and like how stuffy knights are, and they're less like, thieves become much cooler as you get older.
Yeah.
Or rangers or clerics.
And you remember how the Transformers live action movies were just on a roll, just rolling in money.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden something happened, and it just fell
throw
off.
Some knights
what
in
was
there.
That?
What a bizarre decision that was. Yeah. Good point. All right, Ryan, what is your second pick here?
Let me get this thing. So in 1999, I think 99 is like the height of Star Wars being back.
So much. I mean, it's Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
It's the merchandising blitz that like really even overshadowed Batman from 10 years earlier.
Mm-hmm. And so we're all collecting, the Power of the Force,
everything,
the 3 3/4. But what I wasn't collecting was any of those crappy 12 inches they were coming out with. Like, they were terrible. Like, there was a Boba Fett that was just awful. There was a Vader that was awful.
You're wrong.
And then this came out.
Oh, bro.
The Target exclusive Biker Scout.
And later to be KB exclusive for years.
Yeah. And I mean, the quality on this thing is shocking for a 1999 toy. Like, I mean, it's got fabric, it's got like the pleather, like it's held up, and I hunted this. It's one of the first, like, I mean, I have been, we would go out and look for Star Wars toys and stuff, but I hunted this thing. And then I had a girlfriend that worked at Target, and she may have gotten it for me under nefarious ways. But
and that's definitely not why she was your girlfriend at all.
No, not at all.
No.
It's one of the few toys from back then I still have, because I, gave away all my 90s, early 2000s Star Wars toys.
I've still got your Naboo starship in the other room over there. So that body, so it's killer. 99. So that body is still the old school ratcheting joints. Like they haven't updated the bodies yet.
Yeah. Yeah. And this thing was $50. And I remember back then being like, $50? That
was like, crazy.
You could get a Goodwill Decompose for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, I would put this thing up still against anything they're putting out.
That thing is killer, man. That looks so good. Amazing. I've never seen this. It's awesome.
The speeder bike looks fantastic. Well, you know what's impressive about the speeder bike is the scaling of it.
Yeah,
looks better than any other speeder bikes they had released to that point. And I guess maybe because it's larger, but it really does look great. And the Trooper. I actually have a big soft spot for the 12-inch figures from that era. I wasn't collecting them all, but I was picking up ones that I thought were like cool or were things that they hadn't done in the smaller scale. Right. So I dig those quite a bit, but I never picked that up. I think really just because of space. It was so big. I was like, what am I going to do with that? Like, I didn't get that. I didn't get the Wampa or the Tauntaun. Like, those were just, it's so big. I can't.
The Tauntaun was excellent. And I never they did a Leia version too. And I never got the Leia with the speeder bike. And I wish I had.
Part of me, I can't help but feel like if you touch that in the wrong place, he'll eject.
Right.
Like it's what it feels like to me. That's the only speeder bike I've ever held in my hand. So when I see that,
I'm terrible play feature of if you touch it, it explodes. Yeah, so that's solid. I love that era of Star Wars. I mean, we were at Toys R Us at midnight for a few years there, waiting for the stuff to hit, hunting everything down. Like that's a good era to have been a collector. And there were a lot of other things. Man, that's another thing we could do with this episode format is like years.
Oh yeah.
Do 1999. What were we collecting? Like that would also be a lot of fun.
I like that.
Do. Yeah. Cool. So if there were anything you could, you said the Leia.
Oh yeah, the Leia.
That's the one.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, great. Well, I will be up next. Let me find my pick. Although once again, you know what? I'm going to step a little outside of my norms here. I've gone from one of the larger traditional action figures in my collection to one of the smaller traditional
Cosmos
in my collection. As Christian and Schweck certainly know, I'm not like, I don't collect Transformers.
Yeah.
I love Transformers, but I just have to stay away from it because it's just too much. But this guy, he's one of the ones I had when I was a kid. He came out in 1985. Because I had quite a few of the smaller ones because budget-wise, they just made sense for me. But I was obsessed with cryptozoology and UFOs. And like that was every time I went to the library, I'm checking out, books about Bigfoot, books about flying saucers, books about Men in Black, whatever. So to have this great little UFO transformer that it also has a very simple transformation. Like it takes like 2 seconds to transform him. And I love that in robot mode, it's still very recognizable as to what he is. Like all of the elements of his alt mode are there, but not in an obnoxious way. But yeah, Cosmos, and he's one of the ones that has, the rub sign. That was always a lot of fun. Like once that got introduced into the line, which I guess really was just the second year of the line where they brought that in, right?
Yeah, season 2.
So yeah, the colors are nice. The green, yellow, and red is cool. I just always really loved him, and he seems his robot form, while his feet are fused together, his robot form is, it's a little playable. So yeah, this is my number 2 guy. Him, and I guess I'll go ahead and say my must-have to go with this one. Not a foe, but Sea Spray is another one of my favorite Transformers, to the point where there's a big Sea Spray in like Walmart right now. They're doing some kind of retro. And I've been, every time I walk by it, I'm just like, I want that Sea Spray, and I'm not going to do it because that's how they get me. Every time I'm like, that one looks cool. And before I know it, I've got 40 Transformers, and I'm like, I cannot do this again.
Now, does his thermal sticker still work?
Oh, that's a good question. Yes, it does, because I just had my thumb on it, and yeah, it does still work. That's awesome. It's not super vibrant.
Mm-hmm. I remember being a kid and being so obsessed with those thermal stickers, like sitting there and doing them again and again, like it was going to change somehow, or be like a surprise, like
right,
it's Autobot,
still an Autobot, weird.
Well, and look, once we get to our second episode of Hasbropalooza, we'll have another line where this was heavily involved, but I don't have any of that this episode.
I was going to say, one thing Hasbro was great at, and we brought it up earlier today with the holograms, is like anytime there was any advancement in any kind of gimmicky, fun toy, anything, they're like, we can make a line around that. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Holograms? Sure. No problem. Rub on, rub off? Yes.
They did gimmicks in a way that never hindered the playability of the toy.
Yes.
Yeah.
There were certain Transformers, but they were, Transformers that were part of Diaclone and all of that. So I don't say Hasbro, you did that, because that was a totally different toy line. So
look at Visionaries,
at you, but
versus Supernaturals that barely move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But although I do have some Supernatural love as well. But
everyone loves Supernaturals, weirdly. I don't know but like, you'd be surprised how many times that comes up in conversation where I'm talking dude, Kofi Kingston, like, we'll be talking about toys, and he'll go, what was that one with the holograms? And I was like, Visionaries. He's like, no, the good ones. I'm like, get out of here. You get out.
Heel.
I can absolutely see that just from listening, and we talked about it a little bit when I interviewed you, but for anybody that's listening right now or watching, if you haven't listened to New Day's podcast, that's no longer around, but it's still available. They're just not making them anymore. One of the best podcasts ever. And I will say this, Kofi Kingston has some wild takes on toys from listening to that show and me just going, what the fuck are you talking about? And which is the fun of podcasts, because you feel like you're in, the conversation with these people. But yeah, I remember him. I want to say it might have been Brave Star, but that could be wrong. But I just remember there was one where I was like, what?
No, sure enough. You can't see it, but above my door jamb, I've got my 80s line, and it's Turtles, He-Man, Skeletor, Quicksilver, Prime, and Braveheart. Oh, and RoboCop. And I sent that picture to the guys, and he was the only one who was like, "Oh, Brave Star." I said Brave Star. I was like,
maybe
what?
it was. Maybe
Crazy.
It was something about Brave Star. That's funny. All right.
Real quick, sorry. How often do we do Hasbropalooza? Come on.
That's what we're here for.
And I always have 2 points. So first point, you may not know this. This is a weird thing, but in the Transformers community, about 2 years ago, Cosmos became the most sought after figure. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
It was the craziest thing. Like, they put out like this line of, I forget what it was. It was like a racing Cybertron race line. I can't remember what it's called. And and Cosmos was one of them, and they hadn't made one in this new generation yet in that scale or whatever. And they just, I don't know if they underproduced them or only put them in certain stores or whatever, but it became like the chase figure of the entire year. It was nuts.
Yeah, it was a Walmart exclusive.
We just talked about this on Audible Interlude because apparently Walmart recently did Transformers like 2-packs.
Yeah.
That were $15 per 2-pack.
Mm-hmm.
And that Cosmos was in one of those 2-packs. Noel was explaining the whole thing, and I was Homer Simpsoning into a bush.
The weird thing about it was I actually saw one of those recently, and I saw a Cosmos, and I was like, I remember when that was. And I just like it blew me completely off the rose. And the other thing was when you're talking about the Cosmos having a simple transformation, and then I don't know why this is a desk toy of mine, but I have this McDonald's Happy Meal chicken nugget.
Yes,
that's the best one.
Yes.
And your Cosmos just reminds me of it because it's like a 2-step transformer.
Yes.
Now I'm
Dude,
nuggets. Done. These
love
nuggets
changeables. Changeables
Yes.
rule. Absolutely love them.
We had the cheeseburger that turns into a dinosaur, and his name was Senor Hamburguesa, and we made him the mascot of our, because of course it was part of the academic team at school,
of course,
and he was our mascot that was on the table every time we did a competition.
I'll leave him right there.
So Christian, you're up next.
Yes.
And it's very interesting because either of your picks segue.
So I want to paint a picture for you real quick. It is 1985. It is the second year for Transformers. It is probably what a lot of people would consider the most epic year for Transformers, because 1985 gives you Omega Supreme, the Constructicons, the Dinobots, Blaster, like all these amazing bots that all the Conehead jets, like all these bots that everybody is asking Santa for. And I am the one kid on the playground that looked at all those.
Oh my God.
And was like, why? When you have the Autobot, the Edition, I kid you not. As a kid, he was the coolest Transformer. Outdid Shockwave. I didn't like. What is a theatician? Like, I had to have like my parents explain that to me, and I was like, so he thinks, okay, like when you look at the packages and all the other Autobots, you have Autobot Warrior, Autobot Search and Rescue. He just stuck out. Mm-hmm. Like we were talking earlier about Flash. He has 2 appearances in the cartoon. So I could create all my own lore for him. He made quite a few appearances in the Marvel comics. Yeah. And the whole issue, falling in love with the human lady. Maybe that's best left to the 80s. He's that one.
Oh, okay.
He's testing a theory. And robots and
fully functional.
He transforms into what I would consider a hatchback. My friends always said it was a minivan because at that time,
it's not.
It's not a minivan.
No. Do you know why I know that?
Oh no.
Why?
It's all coming out.
Because in 1985, a Nintendo Entertainment System game called City Connection came out. And I'm the only, it's from Jalico. I was the only one of my friends that loved this game. Matter of fact, my friend, oh shoot, what was his name? He had all the Thundercats. I can't remember his freaking name, but I was jealous because Adam. His name was Adam.
Darkstorm. Oh no,
He had,
my bad.
His name was Adam, and he had all of the Thundercats, but he had this game, City Connection. And I'm the only one that liked it, to the point he disliked it so much he gave it to me.
This game
And
looks awful.
If you look up, so what it is, it's a platformer with a car. So it's not a driving game; it's a platformer. But the car is basically Skids. It's not the same color, but it's that same little design.
Yeah.
And because I loved this game, I loved Skids, and he was one of the few larger Transformers that I actually had because of City Connection.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
He has these ridiculously long arms, but he had more posability than a lot of the other like Car Brother Autobots, because they just had these little janky arms that had Tyrannosaurus Rex arms that had to fold up inside the hood. So I felt like when it came to Transformers, he had all this posability, he had all this unlocked potential, and because I did like to mix my toy lines, the Sectar's base was his base, where he did all of his critical thinking and scientific experiments of how
you can use a playset. Playsets are like the Fortress of Fangs. Everybody used that thing. Playsets are a different story.
Okay.
If they scale.
Yeah.
I'm going back to your play style was I'm going to go over here and think about some stuff. I'll say that, hold that thing back up. It is amazing to me how that vac metal on all the old Transformers stays.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So good.
You guys, this is wild.
Skids is here.
So I just Googled, Skids is here. Everybody,
amazing.
Skids. So I just Googled what kind of car was in City Connection. The car in the arcade game City Connection is a Honda City hatchback. I also Googled what kind of car is Autobot Skids. Autobot Skids is a G1 Honda City Turbo.
Yeah.
There you have it.
That is awesome.
Wow.
See? Coolest Transformer ever. Until Blur.
I'm on board. He's so cool. I would use him with my G.I. Joes.
He is.
That is not true at all.
There are few characters in Transformers, because mostly with Transformers, I'm like, I need one of them, right? So whenever there's an upgraded version, let me sell off my other ones. And Skids is the only character outside of the movie, because we don't talk about that, but all of his comic and G1 based figures, it's the only one where I still have every single one.
Wow. So you're a Skids completist.
Well
done.
Nice. I like that.
When
all right.
There's a hobby shop
Skids,
near my
please.
There's a hobby shop near my home
Skidspalooza.
about 2 blocks away. My daughter and I used to go there after school sometimes and just like check it out. It's mostly D&D stuff, role-playing figures, whatever. But there is a section right in the middle where they have like, a wider variety of action figures. And they have like a series of Masterpiece Transformers. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's what I collect. Let me see what they got. And it's all Skids. Sitting on the shelves. Can't give them away. It's just box after box. It's just all Skids.
You may have to get that address. I know someone that might be looking.
Now, but is that, I mean, I would assume you guys probably have a pretty good idea. Is Skids like not a great seller in Masterpiece? Because I know not all of those have set the world on fire.
I don't think he's well enough known. When the IDW comic started, the More Than Meets the Eye series, he had his Chuckles moment, because when they introduced him in IDW continuity, he had his memory wiped. All we knew was there was something terrible that happened, and they were able to draw that storyline out for years until you finally found out what happened, and then more or less he was written out of the book. But it was like for probably a good 2-3 years there, it was like, Skids is so cool. And then now, until he comes back, in the Skybound universe, nobody really remembers him unless you're,
a City
hardcore.
Connection fan.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, if they were, because Takara and Hasbro do all kinds of crazy crossover stuff. If they released a City Connection Skids, I'm in. Let's go.
Cool. That'd be cool.
All right. Well, speaking of cool, Jonathan, that brings us back to you for your third and final pick for Hasbropalooza.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. I'm so glad we made it to this. Okay. So I'm not as good with the years, but picture it, 1980 something. And at this point, the Transformers movie had come out. I guess we're not talking about that. I respect that, but I want to.
Oh, no, I meant live action
because
movie.
of what happened.
Animated
okay,
movie.
good.
Animated
The other
movie
Skids.
all day long.
Copy that. Okay, right on. Good. I didn't understand it, but
No,
I was
live
like,
action Skids is hot garbage.
That's really rough. That's a bad time.
But he's not one of the ones from. Oh,
yeah. Got it. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I can see why that would be a sore spot. But yeah, so the movie has come and gone. I believe season 3 hit. Yes, I think that had come and gone too. So Transformers is clearly on the way out, if not all the way gone, not cool anymore. Even the kids who used to ask me, "Oh, draw me a Transformer," stopped asking me to draw Transformers and started liking girls. Weird. So it's just kind of me alone, secretly still liking Transformers, but I have nobody to talk to about it anymore. And they came out with a toy that I thought was the coolest thing because, like everyone else, I love Optimus Prime. But there was a problem with him, which is that damn trailer goes away, doesn't come back. What does it do? Until they came out with Power Master Optimus Prime, where they solved all the problems. And me being like a mecha fan, because I loved Robotech growing up and like everybody else. They did so many cool things where they're like, let's incorporate the trailer. Let's make it into armor. And the more I learned about the toy, the more I was convinced that was like the Optimus Prime that I needed, like the proper one. But I never got him. I got this one about 2 years ago. It was the first one.
Nice.
Nice. It was like I found one complete at a toy store near me, and I just splurged and got him because I always wanted him. And fellas, he doesn't disappoint. And I'm going to go on a limb and say, I think, for my money, I think this is the greatest toy ever produced. Like,
wow.
Ever. Including like Unicron. Like, I don't care. Like, this is so good and so ahead of its time. Like, first of all, you got your regular Optimus Prime trailer thing, right? Like the cab and the trailer. So you've got the original toy, but when he transforms into his robot mode, he looks a lot like the cartoon version, which had never happened at the time. No one looked like the cartoon version. Like he actually did. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this might be one of, if not the first figure to use faux pieces to look like the cartoon. Because when he transforms, the windows on the front of the cab are on his back, and they've just got fake ones up here just to make it look cool. Mm-hmm. And like, I think that's groundbreaking. That's amazing. Then the trailer turns into a base that he can man. So you're like, that's cool. The engine comes off the cab and is a dude like that can man the base with him, which is amazing. And then if that's not enough, the whole thing can combine into a very Optimus Prime looking thing that has like armor and full armament. And it's just freaking amazing. And I've been playing with him. I love him. I was right to think that this was like the best Transformer, if not the best toy ever made. I love it with my whole heart. Highest marks.
I remember I remember the era of Headmasters, Power Masters. Was there another?
Target Masters.
Target Masters. And I remember finding that really, really compelling. The little companion that turned into the weapon or the head or the whatever the Power Master. What is the concept? That let's get into that. What is the concept of Power Masters?
So it's a little different in the comics than it was in the cartoon, but essentially there is like something about the Power Master that like can unlock the full potential of a Transformer. I don't know if it's supposed to be spiritual or like, I don't know, some kind of kinetic energy or I have no idea. It's Hasbro logic. It's Hasbro science. But we do know that when things combine, they become more powerful. So that's all I know.
Okay. Yeah. And but something about the interactivity of the little, the little robots that would transform into whatever the accessory was, combining with the larger robot, but then just looking like a Transformer was so cool to me.
There's something, and this whole time for years, Transformers have turned into vehicles and there's nothing to drive them. And then they solved it. They're like, all right, Headmasters, they're the driver. And you're like, oh, great. That's amazing. I don't know why you go through the extra trouble, but it's great.
Yeah, that was I dig that era quite a bit. As a matter of fact, every time I see like a Weird Wolf, because that's one of the ones I had when I was a kid. I'm always tempted like to grab it because when you go to a toy show, you'll see like there are 5 Weird Wolves always just there, and I'm always like, I should just get one, and then I'm like, no, I shouldn't. Because I know where that road leads. I know what happens to me.
I was not an Optimus Prime kid. The Decepticons, outside of Skids, Decepticons were my jam.
Sure.
I can remember our family going to Service Merchandise, and I saw Power Master Optimus Prime, and same thing. I just thought, this is what Optimus Prime is supposed to be. I need this. And my parents, save up your money, yada, yada, yada. But where we grew up in Kentucky, it was like an hour, almost hour 20 to get to the city where Service Merchandise was. So that was like once a month, maybe once every other month. So save up your money to buy something at Service Merchandise was a crapshoot. If it would still be there when you got back.
Yeah.
And I saved up my money. I can't remember the time period before we got to go back, but it was still there. And I was so ecstatic. I still have my childhood one.
Really?
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. And the Japanese cartoon that they're based from, Transformers Master Force, is probably the least liked Transformers series
I can see
with
that.
fandom. And of course, it is my favorite. Because in it, the Transformers are mecha.
Yeah.
It is, there are humans that get these change bracelets that when they connect them, they can combine with the car is just a body, and then when they combine with it, now it's a robot.
That's awesome.
I can see why that's controversial.
Very
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I think it's a great series.
It's awesome.
Man, this is why we're here. These little history lessons, this shared. This is what I know of it. This is what I know of it. Like that's what makes this so cool.
Well, we're learning Jonathan has incredible taste in toys.
Oh, well, thank you.
Ryan, what you got? What's your final pick for this episode?
So continuing with what we've been doing, let me take you back to about 3 weeks ago.
Long ago. I don't remember 3 weeks ago as well as I remember 1985. So that one's that recent.
Yeah, I just got it. And so if you want to purchase this fine figure, you will look up the Marvel Legend Gigantos. It is not Gigantos. This is Shumagorath. And so
Why is he called that?
So
Licensing rights.
yeah, because the Shumagorath is under the Conan license. Because a lot of the history is with Crom and early on, but in the 70s he debuted in Marvel and Doctor Strange. And then was probably made the most popular in the Marvel vs. Capcom game. But this figure is so much fun if you don't have it. It's full, bendy. It's got the eye is fully articulated, and it has the eyelids that are articulated, so you can make him give side eye to people.
Dude, that's amazing.
And it just with Hasbro, I'm a big Marvel Legends collector, and you can only get so excited about we've redone this figure without pins, but every once in a while they will put out a ROM or a Crystal or a Warbow or this. And it's just so much fun. I haven't put it down since I've gotten it because there's so many poses you can do. It's wonderful. I highly recommend it.
That's killer.
It's that's on my wish list. So if you were, let's say you've got like a little mini shelf with just that and one other figure, what's your other figure? Is it Doctor Strange, or do you find a Conan or something to go with it, or what?
Yeah, well, and we were kind of talking about, I think we were talking about this the other day. This is probably why I'm hunting that new Strange 2-pack so much.
Yeah.
It's because I want that Strange and Wong to go with this.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, it is wonderful.
Wow.
That's
killer.
And Hasbro, they are really and this sounds so weird because bendy technology has been around since, probably the 50s or 40s or even earlier. I don't know. But when we were kids, bendies were really, really fun, but kind of bottom of the barrel action figures. Right. Because they, over time, the wire would break. So you'd have that arm, you'd have the rabbit or whatever with the arm that, you could do that with. But eventually that wire's going to break, and all that arm does is just, it doesn't work anymore.
And for some reason, there's always 2 holes in the plastic on those toys.
Yes.
And I know for some reason there's a scientific purpose for that. But I just remember always looking at them.
It's because of how it has to flex. Because if those holes weren't there, it wouldn't flex properly to allow the movement. And that's literally all it is. But the problem then is if, as a kid, you want to take your toys in the bath or the pool or the ocean or whatever, as soon as you do that with one of those bendies, water is getting in on that metal wire, and that's just corroding it even faster. But yeah, Hasbro has been doing some really great stuff. That Dr. Octopus, the movie Dr. Octopus that I had briefly, is amazing. They're doing something different with the wires that are encased in the outer layer, where it's much sturdier. It holds the pose. Because when we were kids, you bend the rabbit arm and you want a nice 90-degree angle, and it kind of goes like it doesn't hold that. But this stuff holds the pose.
Yeah, he'll stand on the bendy, which is
and it bears weight too. Like
really
it's a different thing. Yeah, I'm excited about eventually getting that guy. I've had to. We all are at a point where we have to pick and choose a little bit more than we used to.
Something for your show notes, though, the rusty metal joint sticking out of the rubber thing for toys that maimed us.
Yes, absolutely.
The tetanus maker. Yes, that's what
I had. The best example of that I've got. You know what? I kept saying rabbit, and I was in my head. I'm thinking of this pink bendy rabbit that I got for Easter when I was very, very young. But actually, if you remember, the first line of Roger Rabbit toys were bendies.
Oh, yeah.
And I had the Roger Rabbit, and his somewhere in his wrist broke, and there was a wire like protruding out of his wrist. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Toys that maimed us, coming to Needless Things in 2026. All right. So that I will talk about my final Hasbro pick now. It's something that is legendary. I think it's one of the most iconic action figures of all time. And that is, ooh, yeah.
Oh, much.
The Hasbro WWF Macho Man Randy Savage. But what's funny about this figure, so it came out in 1990. And in 1990, I'm 14 years old and I'm watching wrestling, but I see these figures. And so in my head for years, these were rock and wrestling figures.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Because they look so cartoony to me. The proportions are exaggerated. I just didn't appreciate them at the time they were out. And also, in 1990, I am 100% into Ninja Turtles and Toy Biz X-Men. Or Toy Biz Marvel.
Yeah.
So these guys just weren't in my realm at all. And then late 90s, early 2000s, I don't remember exactly when, I went into a Goodwill and they had 2 Ziploc bags of Hasbro WWF guys and other similar like looking figures. And I think I paid like $5 a bag. And I'm talking big gallon Ziploc bags. And that started, and that was around the time that I was starting to get nostalgic about the wrestling that I'd watched when I was a kid. So I was like, you know what? At the time, I didn't appreciate these figures, but now, like, let's go. This is cool. I like these. And this Macho Man, he's got his
nice.
elbow smash.
Sure.
Let's see. This is WWF Hasbro Series 1 Macho Man Randy Savage with elbow smash. And he's got the sunglasses, the headband, he's jacked, and that tan.
That is a deep tan.
Wrestling figures today have trouble achieving like great looking tans. It's just a fun figure. And we've got so many companies now that are doing these retro style figures with great success, by the way, taking it really to another level as an art form. But this Macho Man Randy Savage, this is the one. This was in one of those bags that I bought. And I was like, man, I love this. I love the sculpt on it. Even though his hand and wrist tape isn't even painted, it's sculpted on, but they didn't even bother painting it. And it wasn't until years later that I would find out that Ron Rudat, who designed so many of the original G.I. Joe figures, designed these Hasbro WWF figures.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's wild. Although if you run into Mr. Rudat at a convention, he does not care about these at all. This was just a job. G.I. Joe, he's very passionate about, but WWF, just a job. But yeah, this is the guy that stood out, and this Macho Man is the one that made me realize, like, you know what? I dig this form factor. I want more of these. And you know, to people, you know, 10 years younger than me, these are the wrestling figures. Yeah. Like, this is where wrestling fandom started for guys like Myers and Cardona, the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast, like that whole era of talent. Like, this is so special to them. And I get it now. I get it now. So I love this Macho Man. Now, were any of you guys into these Hasbro wrestlers at all?
I was into that toy line. I know I had that. I feel like I had a Hulk Hogan that maybe like did at the waist.
There were a couple of Hulks. There was one that had the body slam. Mm-hmm. There was one that had like a sort of bear hug type thing.
I had that. And what's crazy is I had those figures. I did not watch or care about wrestling one bit as a child, but I had these toys that I loved.
Yeah, they're again in the hindsight and in how my appreciation of the form of toys has evolved. Like, they're these great little pieces of art. Like, that's how I look at those things now.
Yeah, ironically, until I started working in wrestling, I never owned a single wrestling figure ever. And the reason, guys, look, if this is your introduction to action figures,
Right.
and like just a year later they add even more articulation with the battle grip, I just kind of came up a toy snob, sort of like just as a kid.
Yeah.
Even, like if you had that little articulation, I wasn't interested. It just wasn't as cool to me.
And it's crazy because you hear, I loved wrestling. Now, my parents were anti-wrestling, so that's why I never had any wrestling toys when I was a kid. But if I had, like, the LJNs did nothing for me because it's just, that's it. No articulation. And then these guys, like I said, at the time, they were just too cartoony. Just didn't scratch the itch that I had, because starting with Joe's, you're like, well, why wouldn't a wrestler?
You're so spoiled when you start with Joe's,
right? But why wouldn't a wrestler be able to do all of the things a Joe can do? So it just didn't work for me at the time. But now I love them.
Yeah.
All right, Christian, take us home.
All right. So my number
anything.
3, so I went with a toy that completed a collection for me.
Ooh.
So again, going back to service merchandise, this toy line, I don't think I ever saw the toys on shelves until it was on clearance at service merchandise.
Oh.
And my parents, when it came to clearance stuff, my parents usually would go ahead and buy everything if they could. So with this toy line, we got everything except for 2 vehicles.
Ooh.
And it is one of the toy lines that I have held on to all of my figures since I was a kid.
Oh, so you've got your stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Did this toy line have a cartoon?
Yes.
It did.
So when I eventually discovered eBay was able to get one of the vehicles, the one that actually most people think is the rarest, but the one that I'm getting ready to show, it took me up until maybe 6 or 7 years ago, right before COVID, I finally got my hands on a complete one. So not only an awesome vehicle, but the driver is my favorite figure in this toy line. So we are talking about the Visionaries.
Hey!
With its pilot, Feral, whose animal totem is the wolf. And if you're going to turn into an animal, what cooler animal is there?
A mollusk.
True.
I have never seen that in person. I guess I still haven't, but like, that's crazy. I had the what was the triangle looking one that had the
right, the Skyclaw.
Skyclaw.
So Skyclaw and the Lancer,
the cycle,
jousting cycle, Lancer cycle, something like that, were the 2 that most people, if their parents got them anything,
those were the 2 I had.
Those were the 2, and those were the ones that were at service merchandise. It is surprising to me that it took me longer to get this than it did the assault dagger.
Crazy.
The pods, it's got little flight pods that come out.
So awesome.
That have the hologram of the hand throwing fire.
So freaking cool.
And the paddles that the pods sit in are articulated, so you can move them out. You can flip bad guys as you run into them.
I swear, dude, nobody did vehicles like Hasbro. Like nobody. To this day.
The kid who owned this originally put the stickers on wrong. And I did eventually track down an unused sticker sheet on
Oh
eBay.
wow.
But as we've talked about on Audible Interlude quite a few times, there's something about when you buy a toy that someone has obviously loved and played with, where you're like, there's an energy, there is a history to this.
Yeah.
So I still haven't switched the stickers out. Eventually, when they fall off, I think I will. But there's a certain charm to having the stickers on backwards to it.
Because when it's something that you didn't have when you were a kid, so you didn't have that one when you were a kid.
Correct.
So
I wanted it because of Farrell, but we
there's
never found it.
Well, I've talked about my rule many times of when I buy a vintage toy, I don't need it to be perfect. I want it to look. I'm okay with it if it looks like I think mine would look now.
Yeah.
So I don't need it perfect. And something like that, I would look at that and be like, you know what? I easily might have put those stickers on wrong. That could be mine. That might have been mine. I might have done that same thing. So like, yeah, there's a charm and a personality to that I appreciate.
And one of the things about the Visionary toy line vehicles, besides just the fact that they look really cool, is it's actually very simply made. There aren't a lot of parts and pieces to them, but they just look so big and imposing. And even the small ones, I think, are the same way. Because if you were to say, what do you need to get to go along with this? If you needed another vehicle for this to fight, hands down, I would say the Skyclaw.
Yeah. Yeah.
Considered a small vehicle, but it's probably 3/4 of the size of the Capture Chariot. It's not really small by any stretch of the imagination. So the Capture Chariot can hold 2 other vehicles in the flight pods, and it has holes in the back so that you can hold 3 of their staffs. So
it's made to play, and that's what they did so good at. It wasn't made to lose stuff.
We come back to that all the time here and on Audible Interlude of it's a good toy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Killer.
Well, that is it for this first installment of Hasbropalooza, but I see the magical finger waggle of we must continue.
Is it? Because I wasn't anticipating the what do you need as a companion question. That's the surprise, the big twist. Now we skipped over it with Power Master Prime. But while you were talking, I was thinking, I know what would be the perfect companion, and it happens to be my desk toy that I always keep right here anyway. So this kind of is going to work out just by coincidence.
Bring it on.
Okay, so, oh Lord, he's so specific.
Whoa.
Can you see this?
What the heck is that?
This is the new Power Master Optimus Prime. They recently ended their Masterpiece line and started this new line, the MPM line, which is like an amazing segue that you set up there. They're toys. Like the Masterpiece line, they're like collectibles or like high end. It takes you 40 minutes to transform one. It's very satisfying once you do, but it's a process, right?
Yeah.
It's like they took all the best things. It took like the killer sculpts, all the accessories, the articulation, everything that they learned over the past 20 years, whatever it is, of making Masterpiece. And they started this line and they threw scale out the window. They're like, we're making this fun size, like whatever size it needs to be the most fun. The transformations got simplified, but they still work great. And this was the second figure that they made, and it was a Power Master Prime, so I had to get it. And he's like exactly like this one if he grew up.
Wow, look gorgeous. At that. It almost looks like one of the what are they? Missing Link?
Missing Link.
The Missing Link, yeah.
It
very
almost
similar.
Looks like that.
Yeah, isn't that killer?
I love that it maintained the general aesthetics of that original one.
Yeah, even down to
Yeah.
like the wonkiness. There's like some
Yeah.
weird things that like they can totally engineer out now, and they chose not to because they want it to feel like the original. So super cool.
That's really
That's
cool.
great.
I'm a big fan of let's retain the aesthetics, but try to improve the playability.
Yeah.
I love that kind of stuff. I was very, again, that Transformers Road is always beckoning to me. And when they started introducing those missing link ones, I was like, this is what I've always wanted, but
Yeah.
I can't do it. Can't do it. So that is everything Hasbropalooza Volume 1. Obviously, this is a concept that can go on and on and on and on. We will definitely be back revisiting this one. So much potential here. But before we go, let's start. Christian, what are you up to? Where can we find you online?
So, well, you can hear me on Audible Interlude every Friday, wherever you get your podcasts, and every other Monday we live stream on the Needless Things YouTube channel. And if you want to see more of my toy photography, you can find me on Instagram under the name LegionCub.
And Ryan, what are you up to? Where can we find you?
You can find me on the podcast, Execute Chapter 66. It's a Star Wars book club. We record about every 2 weeks and do a new book and talk Star Wars news, and it's available on all the podcast things.
Jonathan, what do you got going on?
Very cool. Well, unfortunately, I wrapped all my like big cool projects. My movie F+ came out earlier this year. It's very fun. Still available. You can get it. It's about a middle school heist, which is very fun. It's a good family flick. But if you're looking for my work, you can find it on Mondays, on Monday Night Raw, and on Friday Night SmackDown or SmackDown Live, and then once a month on PLEs, on the backs of your favorite WWE superstars, and also, I guess, on a few AEWs as well. And you can find me on Instagram. It's my main haunt, at Davenport, Davenpoe. I'm very interactive there. I post a lot of details for the gear and behind-the-scenes stories, and it's very fun.
That's what I love seeing is, as an example, if you watch Saturday Night's Main Event, which I got to think everybody did because you got to see John Cena's
That
last
was the
match.
one, right?
But you see Cody's gear, and you're like, oh my gosh, look at this gear. Wow, this is great. And then within, 24 hours later, if that, I don't even know if it was that, we see, oh, look at this. Little Davenport going into Cody Rhodes Saturday Night's Main Event gear.
That was my second set for Cody ever. I'm brand new to the team, but it's been very fun, very rewarding. Much better than our debut. I don't know if you remember, but the debut was War Games. Yeah, Survivor Series War Games. And we made this awesome coat that was like very asymmetrical. It fastened like in a very cool way. And he had that off in a nanosecond. Like before he even hit the ramp, it was in the trash can. And he made his way to the ring. So this last Saturday was a lot more gratifying. So that was very fun.
But I think that's standard, though, is War Games are typically like, let's go, let's get into it. Saturday Night's Main Event or this, really any other kind of match, a little more pageantry in the entrance, a little less urgency.
I was going to post on Sunday, but I wanted to give everybody a respectful 24 hours to get all the Cena out of their system.
Right.
And then we posted Monday.
Awesome. Well, guys, this has been a blast. This was a great concept. I look forward to the next time we do it. There's so much meat on the bone here, so much fun to be had. So thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Thank you, everybody, for watching, for listening. Check out Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. We will be live December the 22nd for the airing of grievances. So check us out there. You can find the Needless Things podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts, and also just tons and tons and tons of toy reviews on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. This has been a great time, and we will catch you again very soon.
Smash that like button if you like Needless Things.